We're going to wander well outside our comfort zone today, but it's for the sake of brain health and to introduce you to one of the few brain superfoods that really does deserve that label. Hi, I'm Tony Daring of GoCogno.com, the website for people with mild cognitive impairment. I do these videos every week, and I'm always trying to tell you something that you haven't already heard 100 times. There's only so many ways to say, eat blueberries, eat walnuts, eat fruit. And yet there's something out there you've probably never even heard of that's not only as good for you as any of those things, but probably better. It's sea vegetables, the neglected wonder food for the brain. Neglected in the West. Anyway, it's something Americans don't eat and may never eat. But hear me out on this, because what sea vegetables could do for your brain is pretty amazing. I was introduced to the cognitive wonders of sea vegetables by my colleague Dean Alban. This screen grab is from her wonderfully authoritative site, which is called Be Brain Fit. I had never really given a thought to sea vegetables, but once Dean talked to me about them and I did a little more research, my thought was, wow, how have I never heard of these? So here's 4 things I want you to know about sea vegetables, courtesy of Dean. They are one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. They contain a host of minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants that are essential to the brain. They are the only substantial vegetable source of vitamin B12, and they are a staple of the diet in Okinawa, one of the blue zones where Alzheimer's disease is almost unheard of. Now, that's all well and good, but only if you actually eat sea vegetables, which most Westerners don't. I'm an optimist, and I kind of thought, there was a time when people in the West didn't eat sushi, but they do now. So I asked Dean, do you think maybe someday sea vegetables will catch on the way sushi has if people understand how good for cognition it is? And her reaction was like, yeah, well, good luck with that. What she actually said was, unfortunately, the modern palate has been jaded from too much overly flavorful processed food high in salt, sugar, and spices. I don't see sea vegetables becoming a staple in most Western households. But at least I've introduced you to the concept, and the reality is you may be eating sea vegetables already without even knowing it. I'm talking about nori, which I'm holding here. Nori is the sheets of seaweed used to wrap sushi. You can buy it at health food stores or Asian grocery stores. If you're really adventurous, you can use it to make your own sushi at home. In fact, there's instructions how, right here on the back of the package. But Dean Alban says there are other simple ways to try nori. Some sheets have been toasted and flavored, so you can eat them as is, or crumble and add them to salads, rice, or just about anything else. She says you can also heat a little oil and drop a sheet of nori into the pan for just a few seconds. It crisps up nicely and is much like kale chips. So there you go. I've introduced you to sea vegetables, and even if you don't end up eating them, at least you've learned something new. If you want to learn more, though, you can read my full article on sea vegetables, and there's a link below. I'm also including a link below to Dean Alban's post, 12 Foods That Supercharge Your Memory, Focus, and Mood, which talks about other brain-healthy foods as well, including kale, avocados, walnuts, and fermented foods. I want to thank Dean for her help on this topic, and I hope to see you again here next week. Until then, as always, be kind to your mind.